Okay, I'm gonna level with you guys here. Before we get into the video, I've had some thoughts that I wanna, just throw around first before we get into the meat and potatoes of this all. Okay, first of all, I am so glad that, any amount of you have been watching my videos. Like the last one, I really enjoyed doing that. I was so happy that was the most viewed video. Like, I think it's at 192 views right now as I'm recording this. That would seem to do well, and I'm really glad you guys all liked it, because I had a lot of fun making it, and I'm just glad that you guys all appreciated it. I hope you learned a lot from it, and I hope you check those guys out. Those theologians are pretty cool. Next up, I've had some thoughts about what I want to do with Amen Haas. I mean, I obviously still want it to just be a channel where I can preach the gospel and, share more great things about being a Christian. And, well, it's nice to just sit here in my room and talk about it or make fun countdowns like that last one. The honest truth is I kind of also would like more production value, or to make it more like I don't want to go corporate. Obviously not. Corporate and Christianity, that doesn't... No, I'm not going to partner with a big production company, though I guess that's what brings me to where I'm at right now. I've actually thought about partnering with, other Christian groups to, do this on their behalf. Get a big platform with these guys and better spread the gospel, and with better production value, I can make it more entertaining and, more enjoyable. I don't know, I guess it's the artist side of me. I want to, make this better than it is, I want to improve my craft. I guess, it's a little silly that I'm kind of calling, evangelism a craft. I'm just spreading the gospel, but I want to do it my way, and I want to do it... I don't just want to talk. I want to, have, segments. I want to have, people on the show. I want to have, maybe even skits I could do. There's a lot I want to do, but I can't do it on not even a shoestring budget, but a $0 budget. I'm literally just recording this on my camera, my laptop camera, and putting it into Clipchamp, a freeware video editing program on Windows. And I've been using stock videos and footage and pictures for my countdown, if you want to know how I did that. Yeah, I've honestly... There's not a lot I could do much more than that. And, I'd like to, make this more serious. I don't want it to be a full-time thing. I have other things I want to do in my life, actual jobs I want to get. But, I don't know, I feel like I could do a lot with this. And if you guys have anyone who you could, recommend me to work with, or if there's anything you want to see on this channel, any recommendations at all, you tell me, because I want to know. I gotta know what could I be doing better. I appreciate feedback. And a big inspiration for me wanting to do more is the kind of work I've seen from the topic of this video, a man you gotta read his books. You gotta listen to this guy. He's awesome. His name is Brant Hansen. Talking about him more on Amen Haas. Greetings, traveler. I am Ian Haas, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Amen Haas. So yeah, I was rapping about that whole, wanting to do more, meet with other people. There's a man who inspired it, a man who's usually on my bookshelf, but is actually right here. The man, as I said, is Brant Hansen. This is a book, not a man. Why did I even say okay. No, cool times. This book is called Life is Hard, God is Good, Let's Dance, and Experiencing Real Joy in a World Gone Mad. Pretty lengthy title, but don't let it intimidate you. Brant Hansen in this book tells us about his life, about how to be happy in a world gone mad, because it's gone mad. It's got bonkers, man, I swear. Everyone seems to be insane. everything I see is insanity. It seems like nothing's going right. Everything's going crazy. And it'll never get fixed, apparently. But, you know, who are the people telling you that? The people who want you to panic, you know? The panicians, as I call them. People constantly panicking over everything. These people are doing it all for engagement and clicks. They don't care about anyone who's actually suffering in the world. If they ever bring any of that up, say, oh, this horrible stuff's going on in the world. Like a celebrity says, we need to fight this stuff. Like, he doesn't care. He just wants to get you riled up, get attention, relaunch his career because he's a failed Hollywood person who, like, you know, then washed up into some, like, activist form of social activism. And just wants you to be mad all the time because he's mad that he's not making any money off of his records or movies anymore, right? We know this all. It's dumb. And I'm never going to tell you to do that. I'll tell you to help people in need. There is a lot of crap going on in the world. And if you can do anything about it, please do. But focus on what's in your control and leave the rest to God, all right? Because, you know, that's kind of one of the main themes of this book, right? Like, Jesus knows more than us. And he knows more than the people on TV. And, you know, in fact, Brant, he makes this point in a skit. And that's why I want to do skits. I want to do something like this. Let me see. Okay. I'm Jesus. I know more than you. And this is me. Yeah, I know. So you must believe me when I say everything's alright. But what about X and Y? Oh, for goodness. I know X, Y, and Z. Okay, but what about X and Y? Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, look, everything will be alright. Just remember. Okay. Turns on TV. Newsflash! X and Y is happening! Be sad! That's the best I could do, but it's so funny. It's like, you know, it's so true, okay? Like, there's so much going on, but, like, Jesus has an answer above all of it. It's like, I'm not saying that the bad stuff in the world doesn't matter, that life is all cupcakes and rainbows, we should focus solely on the good stuff, but, like, focus on what's in your control, because everything about that is God's plan, alright? He'll work this out somehow. You will find a way towards happiness. Be strong, be patient, and do what you can to help yourself in your own life. It's important, okay? And, you know, embrace some of your strange eccentricities is another lesson I suppose he tells, because it's all over in this book, right? I mean, look at the table of contents here. I mean, he's got stuff. Look at some of these chapters. They're like, well, one weird kid. The chapter that combines a French philosopher and the Dukes of Hazzard. Nobody moves into Assumption, Illinois, for he hath brought forth a cushion. About the time my face hit a parked truck. Who comes up with this kind of stuff? I won't even say crap, because this is gold. This is gold, baby. Oh, boy. You know, and this is something we can also learn from Brant Hansen. Be eccentric. Be yourself. You know, if you got a likable personality, show it. And do it on behalf of God, alright? If you think that people like you, first of all, if you don't, there are people who do, alright? And you can present yourself better. It's why I didn't do this in my pajamas, even though I'll probably go to bed after this. You know, I could just have been lazy and been in my pajamas, but no. I wanted to look good because, you know, you guys probably like it more. But more to the point, if you guys all like me, why hide it? Why not embrace yourself and do it on behalf of God? Like, the only things you shouldn't do in God's name are bad things, because that's actually carrying the Lord's name in vain, the breaking of the second commandment. You know, other than that, be yourself. Appeal to people in ways most other Christians don't, because you might be skipping over an important part of the population who could come to Jesus if they only had the connection that they are looking for. And that's why so many Gen Z Christians are using memes and internet culture and, you know, appealing to a lot of the problems that we specifically face. And I do it too, because it's important. Because we know that some of these older guys are just, they don't know us. They don't know These boomers don't know what we're doing, all right? They don't know what it's like to be us, to live in a world like this. They had it so easy. We have it so hard. We got to pull out the big guns this time, all right? It just sheer televangelism won't work. Just saying, believe in Jesus, man. It's not enough. The Jesus movement. There's a reason I didn't even call that a Great Awakening in my last video. Because it really isn't. We need a real fourth Great Awakening. And it's got to happen soon, or we will have a much harder time being happy. Because we've tried to look so hard for meaning and happiness in our life, and yet we all seem to turn away from the one thing that can actually, like, again, they say Gen Z is becoming Christian. Like, no. Those polls are, like, very misinterpreted. Like, you know, a lot of it comes from, like, the Quiet Revival. It's this paper where they said that, you know, it was increasing by 50%, and then the actual polls say it went from, like, 8 to 12, so that's how they interpreted it. Like, this is why you take statistics, again. Like, you just, like, they actually aren't Christian, so they look for meaning, and, you know, they try so hard, and yet they deny the one thing that would give them the most fulfillment of all, alright? We may be at the wealthiest point in all of humanity, but frankly, we are at also the most spiritually poor part of humanity, alright? We have so much in wealth and greatness, so much in, like, this, you know? Would there be Altoids in, like, the Middle Ages? No, but you know what they had? They had Jesus. Alright? It's how many of them could still be happy, even if they were serfs being owned by other people, farming on lands, barely having enough to live. They still had God, and they had each other, and they had community. And that is what you need if you want happiness. Beyond that, what does any of this mean, right? What does any of it all mean? Nothing. None of this matters without God. Because that's the one thing that's eternal. You'll lose everything else one day. All of it's going to go away. And that terrifies our generation to death. It used to terrify me to death. But you know how I got over it? Because I knew there was something greater than this that was eternal. There was something worth fighting for that I would never stop fighting for because it would always matter. I fought for God. It was coming back to God that gave me the greatest drive to keep going. And even if that didn't fully save my mental health, honestly, it did so much that I can't help but thank God for doing it. It doesn't matter that, you know, maybe some Christians are bad, or that maybe there are problems in the church. I know that's not what Jesus is about. And I know it because I know none of these frauds of the church who don't even know what it's all about could never give me the happiness that I've felt from Jesus. This is why. This is why we actually need a revival. And Brant Hansen is honestly one of the best people who's illustrating all this. How are we to experience real joy in a world gone mad? Read this book, and this is why. A shameless plug, I know, but it's such a great book, and it's taught me so much, and it's also helped me find more contentness in my life. So yeah, turn off your social media. Go outside. Make friends. If that's hard, then you could go on social media and look up how to make friends. Like, or that's not even social media. Just go to a website, right? Like, connect with people. Connect with God. You know? And, you know, if you can't buy this book, if you can read any excerpts from it online, just do that and you might learn a lot. Because I did. And Brant, if you're ever watching this, I hope we could connect sometime, and maybe I could go on your podcast, or you could come here on mine, and we can have a little chat. I'd really enjoy that. Yeah, there's not a whole lot else I want to talk, because everything else I really have to say about him is really just be summarizing this book, which really you should just check out for yourself. I couldn't do it justice. I'm not really there yet. But still, I thank you all for listening to this. I hope you check him out. I love you all so much. Ian Haas, out!